Hi everybody and welcome to this workshop. These workshops are going to be running on the basically the twice a month, okay, and all the details are in the program. So I'm just going to let people in as they come in. So what we're going to cover today is basically the Facebook group ecosystem. And you probably think, what on earth is the Facebook group ecosystem? But it's a great one to cover because when you're running a coaching business, I'm just making sure, I'm not showing the screen. When we're running a coaching business, there's certain fundamentals we have to get in place, okay? And I've audited a few group members. I've audited a few group members and I've audited their Facebook groups this week. And there's a common thread that coaches can really, really improve on to get like the traction going in the group and up the group members and start pulling out clients from our groups, because let's face it, we're not going to spend time building our groups and putting content in there without getting the rewards of getting clients out of it. So what we're trying to do here, I've done a diagram here of what we're trying to get out of our Facebook groups and what we need to do to be seen online by our ideal client. So I'm going to take you through step by step the whole, what we call the Facebook group ecosystem. So basically, you've got your group members coming in, and I'm not going to cover on this video how to build your group. There are 6 ways that I teach my premium students how to build the group. And those of you in my $17 a month program, you'll know this as well. Okay. So basically, we build the group continually, 25 members a week at least coming in. And then we've got to be really careful who we add, because these people are entering our ecosystem. And what we mean by that is they're entering our world and they're going to start seeing our content. And the more we can get our audience right, and we get it right at the gate, the easier your job's going to be. Okay. So the groups I audited this week, one was my clients and one was actually a group member in my free group. And what I found was that they were naming their groups a very general title so that we weren't polarizing. We were literally, anybody could join, and it was just like a free for all. And there was no like who it's for, what pain are they experiencing, and what result they're going to get. And when we join a group, we want to know why we're joining and what we're going to get out of it. So if you've got a very vague title like Raise Your Vibe or Mindset Mastery, it doesn't really tell us anything. So the very first thing we need to do is really pull the right crowd in to your group by being very specific about who you help and what you do. And I cover some of that in the $17 a month program, but also we work more one-to-one with our premium students who struggle with that bit of the equation. And that is actually the hardest bit to get right, because we can help a lot of people with a lot of things. We've got to really be specific of who we help and what result before they come into our group. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the ecosystem of how the whole thing works. Now, many of you might have seen my ads pop up in your newsfeed because you've landed on my content on my websites. You might have watched my workshops and you've been pixeled, so that I then run literally $1-2 a day ads so that my content gets shown to you and you get more familiar with me over time. So this is what I teach my students. So basically, let me just go into this, and they're not scary ads and you don't have to do them straight away. But let me just go through the whole equation with you. So you've got your group members coming in, but it doesn't stop there. Okay, because there's a lot of groups online. There's a lot of people wanting attention. So what we do within our groups is we run workshops. So we don't want to run them too often, but we run workshops, and we're going to run them on subjects that we know there is a pain in our niche. We know, we've done the research, we've spoken to people, we've got on the phone many, many times. We know what pains are in our niche. We know how to solve them. So our workshops are calling out the pains. And some pains maybe get more traction than others. So when we run workshops and we don't get much traction, and it takes a lot of notice, we know that didn't work, okay? So we're testing all the time, different angles, different triggers. Now those workshops will go inside your group, okay? We'll raise events and we use, 3 or 4 ways to build momentum to those events, not just using the invite tab. There are very clever ways that I cover not only my $17, but also more one-to-one with my premium students. So you're in the workshops, okay? Now those workshops, it's not the be-all, it's not the end of it once you run that workshop. You only have 1 or 2 turn up, okay? And that's typical. We work in different time zones across the world. So if you've only got 1 and 2 turn up, you should have built buckets of people within your group that are interested in what you do. And in theory, most people in your group should be interested in everything you do, but you're going to get groups of people that are interested in, more interested in that topic than that topic, and more interested in that topic than that topic. So we're going to build up buckets of people, and we're going to start notifying them with clever messages and also sort of tagging feature that this workshop's happened, you paid an interest, we put content out before to let them know the workshop's running, and we basically notified them that workshop's taken place. Now, a really clever tip is that you don't have to send them straight to the workshop. We send them to landing pages that are pixeled so that we know that, they're going to start seeing ads when we run them, if and when we run them. So those workshops, not only are you going to let people know after the event, but also they can help form your emails. So there's a definite correlation between your workshops and your emails. You can start putting emails together, direct them to workshops. Every time you do a workshop, you're never short of doing the email because you're going to link the two. Okay, so what we're trying to do is get our crowd of people to see us everywhere. So not only you've got like the workshops and emails related, the workshops can be linked with the emails. So you start building like that momentum. Once you start building your list, though, that email list will then continually see those workshops that you've done in the past. So when you go live in your group, you don't get a lot of interaction. Just be aware that this is only the very first step of the equation. We're going to actually connect emails to those workshops. We're going to start throwing it out to our email list. That is building in the background with very clever ways. We're building our email list at the same time. And, you've got the right crowd in there, so you know that you're interested. You've found out the pain points. You've connected your emails so that over time, those workshops are going to get more and more interaction. Then we've also got a clever way of pulling out the leads, because your workshop will also pull out leads. If it's done in the right way, if you constructed it in the right way, and you've got call to actions, and you know with certain things you do in your workshop, who is interested in what you're doing and what you're saying, and who's got the pain. And then you know how to not only kind of have a conversation with them on the workshop itself or after, but pull them into Messenger. Now that can be the biggest black hole, the Messenger conversation. It's really hard to talk to someone you don't know, that you virtually know. This is an art in itself, okay, and it almost kind of follows a certain sequence. But the idea is that not only their email, but you're bringing them into Messenger, the leads that you know already and waiting and wanting to know more about what you do and what your solution is. So the Messenger conversation is a really important part of this equation. And I've made mistakes in the past. I've kind of messaged everybody when I first started. I've made awful mistakes. I've cut and pasted stuff and it looked really salesy. We've all done it, but there is an art to this, and it's just being as natural as having a cup of coffee with somebody. But there is a very specific way that we follow up, and I use a bit of software to track who's at what stage, who wanted what. So I know to follow up, okay, with my bit of software, not routing through Messenger, trying to find who said what and when 3 months ago. I've got little buckets of people with my little bit of software, and I cover that in not only the $17 a month program, but the premium program. So we've got a clever Messenger sequence. We've got a routine every day that we follow up so many every day. Did they want the workshop? How do they find it? And there's a Messenger conversation. So on top of your workshops, your emails direct into workshops, your interaction within your group, really, you shouldn't be posting in your group more than once a week. You have an evergreen post, okay, that sits at the top of your group, but really, you cannot be posting in your group every day, because the Facebook algorithm isn't going to give you all its attention on every single post. So we're going to nurture that one post once a week, and that's all the engagement you're going to need, okay, to pull out 5 to 10 clients a month. I guarantee you don't need any more than that. But what is really, really important is this clarity piece. Now, when I audited not only my clients, she's a premium client of mine, but I audited her group. She's a new client to me, but I also audited somebody in my free group, because I put a bit of an offer out there saying, look, free audit, grab it while you can. So there's no clarity piece. So when people come into your group, they don't know what you do, who you help, what result you get. So a lot of people can't monetize groups. They can't pull clients out because the clients don't know what to do. And if you don't make it really clear from day one what you do in your group, how you help, who you help, what result you get, what your program is, there's no way they can migrate out your group. Okay, so that clarity piece can be 15, it can be 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15, it just depends on how long it takes to get your message across. But that clarity piece is really important to sit at the top of your group. And a video is really good because it's a connection with you. You know, social media is people. So we need to get over our phobia of not being in front of the camera. You can use PDFs. And one of my clients did actually use a PDF and he took them to an opt-in. Okay, but just be aware the opt-in puts another barrier up because you're not going to get everybody opting in to watch your content. But he wanted to build his list. That was a priority for him. So the clarity piece is a simple video of what you do, who you help, but it's got to cover six main aspects. Okay, it's got to cover like who it's for, the promise of value, what they're going to get. It's got to cover, you know, why they need to listen to you, why your system's easy, and, you know, not just easy, but it doesn't take that long. You know, we're not going to spend 6 hours on social media. It's also got to overcome their objection of their own self-belief. You know, people often believe they can't do things. So you need to smash those dominoes down within that clarity piece. Okay, so I'm here to tell you about the ecosystem, not teach you every part of it, because I do that with my premium students. And I do cover a lot of ground in my $17 a month program. But the clarity piece is a really important evergreen post at the top of your group, okay, that we direct people to when they come into the group. We show them they need to watch this, they need to watch this, okay? We're not going to shove like one-to-one calls in front of the face. We're not going to like bombard them with like salesy spiel and links. There's a really clever way of doing this stuff. But the clarity piece is a really important part of your group. Okay, your weekly workshops, or they can be bi-weekly. You don't have to do them every week. In fact, I was doing once a month and then just going live in my group occasionally. And I've got my post that goes out on a Wednesday as well. The whole idea is you're building, Facebook knows you're putting content out there on a regular basis, but not too often. You're ticking all the right boxes. So it really is an ecosystem. That's what I'm trying to get across to you today. You've got your group members, bringing in the right people. We're naming it the right group, because I was going to say to you, there's two clients of mine. One is bereavement coach, Seamus Walsh, you may be watching, but he focused on healing after losing a parent. So that's really niche down. Okay, he knew who to focus on. He knew what his messaging should be. His group is called that. So everything was really, really specific. So his group, you know, is people trying to look for his group on Facebook. You know, it's pretty easy to find. If you just lost a parent, losing parents' grief, you know, you're going to feel a lot of grief, and he can be easily found. Okay, another client of mine, she is a psychiatrist. I run ads for her because I do run a lead agency for coaches, run ads for coaches and service providers. She can help so many people on different things, but we honed it down to her helping busy professional women, like in corporate jobs, who are arguing with their spouse, and how to heal from the arguing, how to heal your inner trauma and get on with your spouse more, so you're not arguing every day, not bickering over who's done the most work and who's done the most housework, and, you know, all that stuff that happens when you have kids. So she defined very much who she helps, and she is doing really, really well. I mean, she's a different story because well, I'm not saying she's a different story, but she may be or may not be at the same level as some of you coaches. Some of you may be doing stormily well. Some of you may just started out. She's been going quite a long time. She's got a high-end program, and her ads, like, we're spending quite a lot of money on her ads because she's running these workshops in January. But we focused on the one message for one person, and her ads are coming in something like $3 an opt-in, which the average is about $10 to $15 an opt-in. So, you know, we're not talking about opt-ins here today, but we are talking about a very simple organic ecosystem. So what we're doing next, we've got our emails, we've got our workshops, we've got a clarity piece. We know how to sell a messenger, okay? Whether it's either a low ticket or a high ticket, that's for another workshop, but we can then start running these budget ads. And I'm not saying you have to rush to do the answers straight away. You don't have to. Some people love to get on with the ads. Now they think, I've got this extra money, I want to speed things up. And they can speed things up, but they're not necessary at the beginning. They're not necessary to get you, you know, to the first like 3 to 5 clients every month, but they are going to really help on your journey. So don't believe the hype that you've got to get to 7 figures before you start using ads. You really don't. Okay. I wouldn't suggest you go and spend all your savings on your ads. We want to start bringing cash flow in and then start on the ads platform, because this is a really clever thing. If you've done all this right, you have built an audience, a warm audience of people who've landed on your pages, watched your videos. You've tracked those people, because what we do at the very start, which I do with my premium students, we set up this right at the very beginning. We set up all the tracking systems so that when and if we're ready, okay, I like to say when we're ready, we can then go on the ads platform, and it's been tracking all that information. And we can just really simple ads that just retarget all these people. They retarget them so that you're continually seen everywhere. And at the start, when you've got a smallish audience, you can literally do that for $1 a day. Okay, $1 to $2 a day. That's all you need for a retargeting ad to a warm audience. And they're really simple. We've got no funnels, we've got no opt-ins. We're not talking about that because it's your brand awareness. Okay, there's so many brands out there that put ads out and they're not expecting opt-ins. They're just there to build up that brand awareness. And it can take like 2 months, 3 months to start really getting seen online, getting out there, getting recognized. This is a really clever way of actually getting your content seen by your group members, so that when you do your workshops and when they get your emails, they're way more likely to open them. They're way more likely to turn up. Or if you tag them in, they're way more likely to come and watch it. Or if you message them, they're way more likely to reply, because you're now putting yourself out there on the ads platform for a very minimal amount, and they're not hard. The ads platform is not the problem at all. It's not hard, so don't get all scared about being techie. It's the messaging. Okay, so if you know your clarity piece, you know how you help, who you help, and what you serve. Now, that is the hardest part for some coaches who are starting out. And that is very much kind of a one-to-one with my premium students to really nail that. But once you've got that in place and you've tested it and you've verified it and you know it works and you know you're getting some people biting, you're then really great position to go on the ads platform with all that messaging, with content. And again, we can build up more warm audiences here, the people who watch videos, people who, when we get to that stage, fill out lead forms, but it's mainly videos at the start. Just putting simple content, we're not taking them anywhere. We're literally putting ourselves in front of our audience, okay? Now, that can be kept really simple, but as we progress, we can get a little bit more kind of techie. We start building our email list, because once we start getting the money in the door and you start getting your 10K months, okay, you then want to put a bit more into the ads platform to start building the emails, your email list. And then once you start building your email list, more people start seeing your workshops, more people start seeing your clarity piece, and more people start wanting to join your group, and the whole thing snowballs. So that is, guys, the organic Facebook group ecosystem. In a nutshell, that's what we're doing. We're being seen everywhere. It is just a system. I got a very systemized process I follow every week. I know what I do on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And mine's all set up now. And the hardest bit is just getting things set up. But really the hardest bit is just making sure you're clear on what you do and who you help. But everything else is pretty straightforward. We're not talking about techie stuff, hard stuff. It takes a bit of time, okay? But when we fine-tuned it all, we can actually get this building the group system down to 30 minutes a day. Now, that you do have to use automation for. It's not included in the $17 a month program. It is included with my premium students. But that, then, again, you're ready to put automation and fuel on the fire. Okay, so are there any questions today? Can't see any questions coming in. And just rest assured, I'll be covering each one of these as we go along. I just want to cover the ecosystem as it is, so that you're fully aware how to run a coaching business, how to get the traction you need, okay? And not to worry that if you don't get many turn up at your workshops, you will be building that momentum, getting that engagement over time, okay? Because we're going to be nurturing people onto those workshops. More the new members coming into your group, people coming onto your email list, we'll be directing them to these workshops to get the engagement you need. But as long as you've got, you're ticking the right box with the pain. Okay, guys, so that's it for today. If anybody wants to know about the premium program, or if you're not in my $17 a month program, let me know and drop me a line, and I can send you a link, and you can take a quick look for yourself. It shows you behind the scenes what you get. And it has been likened to a high ticket program. So it is awesome value, but I'll let you reach out to me. And if that's of interest, and if you feel ready to go for it. Okay, thanks very much for listening. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Sorry, I just got a bit distracted then. I just saw something come up that didn't seem familiar. Okay, guys, have a lovely day and I'll speak to you soon.